As I told the kids, this is what the psalmist, poet of old, proclaims to us. Sing a new song. Not an old song, not a tried and true song, not a song that everyone knows the words to, not a familiar tune. Yes, echo the songs of old, repeat the ones that are still relevant over and over to the next generation until they know them too. Hum them in the shower or the car. Use them to remember the God and the testimonies from an earlier time. Perhaps even stories from before your time. Stories of God's goodness and faithfulness. But also, sing a new song. Sing a new song in response to that new thing that God is doing in this time and this place. Sing a new song of those new glimpses you catch of God's faithfulness and goodness. For as we say in the United Church of Christ, God is still speaking, which means we are still listening, and means we must still be responding. Sing a new song. Well, those of you who have experienced the first Sunday of a new seasonal song sheet, now that's a little easier said than done. When the seasons shift here in this congregation, we shift our songs as well to alert us to this something new that God is doing in our midst, and to respond to that different thing. What's happening here in this moment. But it's all right. We trip over our words, we stumble and jolt our way through the rhythms. We fall flat, we come in sharp. We coast through the song in the middle, scared to hit the high highs or the low lows, because we lack the confidence to meet the full dynamic range of the song. We have to listen closely to our music leaders, learn when to come in and when to rest. As some have told me on those first Sunday with all these new songs, whew, that was a lot of work. Others have said, we sound ridiculous, like we don't know what we're doing. Sure, we are learning all the time how to make it easier and feel less awkward on these first Sundays. We are learning ways our choir and our music leaders can better guide us through those songs. But to some extent, it is always going to feel awkward because they are new songs. Because they are songs we are just birthing as a community. They're songs that are just becoming ours. You know, we're now in the 6th Sunday of the Easter season, the 6th Sunday with our current seasonal song sheet. You can hear a difference. These songs have become our songs now. They ring out a little differently. You know, there are thinkers in both of our denominations, the Presbyterian Church USA and the United Church of Christ, who do a pretty good job listening to the Spirit moving in our time and our place. We're constantly writing new interpretations of the Scripture as we hear them in our own context, and we're constantly learning more about the context in which they were originally written. We are always listening and discerning God's voice in our current events, in our current communities. As a preacher, I'm responsible not just to speak that new word I hear from God, that we are hearing from God, but also to pick out songs we can sing all together that will reflect that new word, will respond to it. And sometimes I find an old hymn that just fits so perfectly. I realize that that new word is really an old word echoed again for us. written by someone who has heard or seen the new things God is doing, who, like me, has listened to the Spirit speaking in and through and to the beloved members of their community, and has new words and a new tune that very authentically responds to this newly witnessed faithfulness, creativity, and justice or goodness we are experiencing of God. But sometimes I hesitate to select that song. I did this morning. We just had a new song. I hesitate because they do feel awkward. Because, like Julie and I's toddlers learning to walk and talk, it isn't always pretty or refined. Sometimes it's a little clunky and ridiculous. And I worry that perhaps it won't feel as much like worship, because we won't be able to sink into it as fully as we can with those tunes we know so well. The ones that our mother's mother and our father's father knew. The ones of our youth that we know so well that we can add flares and trills and harmony to. You know, it's so much easier, and it's so much more polished and comfortable, so much less work for all of us, to just stick with the old songs. This week, my many online clergy groups were buzzing with debate about whether church should celebrate or even acknowledge Mother's Day. Some clergy posted the famous Anne Lamott quote. She writes, "Why I hate Mother's Day. It celebrates the great lie about women, that those with children are more important than those without." Others talked about how painful it is for those who have lost mothers, or who have had abusive mothers. How painful for mothers who have lost children. For mothers who have carried children in their womb they never got to meet. For mothers no one knows are mothers, because no one knows they once carried a life. For mothers whose children have been taken away. For mothers who feel like failures. Those are all really good reasons not to sing the same old songs of celebration on Mother's Day. We are obviously hearing a new word from God about the way we care for women in our congregation on Mother's Day. That we have a lot of songs that need to be sung on a day like today. We have songs of grief. We have songs that value and appreciate the motherless and the childless. We have songs that mourn the failings of our mothers and our own failings as mothers. We have songs of longing for the good mother, like the Good Shepherd, kind of mother that only God can be to us. We have songs of hope and grace, of reconciliation and love. We have songs that capture the nuance of our relationship with our mothers. And we have songs that capture the way our songs of praise to God for our mothers have changed over time. And a lot of my clergy friends were opting to just silence the old songs of Mother's Day celebration. Not sing any song or give any message about mothers on this day, because a new song, a new message, is hard. But I wonder what that new song might be for us. I wonder if we could learn to sing her song. A song of praise to the good mother. The one who delights in us and values each of us, whether we have children or not. The one who weeps with us. The one who sees all the gray, the mixture of good and bad in our human relationships. good God, the God of the universe, the one who is constantly pulling back the curtains for us to see this marvelous masterpiece, this wonderful thing in the universe that is constantly taking shape. I wonder, can we sing her song? That song of truly unconditional love mixed with wondrous creativity. Can we sing her song? Can we sing the song of Mother Nature singing to her mother, responding with joyous noise to that sweet, melodious lullaby of love, cradling us, nurturing us, painstakingly pushing us through the deep, through ground, water, and blood, into a new kind of being, a kingdom of wholeness, peace, healing, and love, where grace sparkles across our souls like light bouncing across rippling waters. And we sing her song. This morning, Carolyn read for us 1 John. And it's this repetitive song circling round and round, each part linked to the next and back again. As commentator David Slinkler writes of this passage, notions of belief and kinship, love, obedience, commandments, victory, and faith all chase after each other in a continuous loop in this song. Like planets orbiting one another, held together by one centering point, Jesus Christ. He writes of this passage from 1 John, such a force would indeed exert a pull like that of a vortex, a pull down into the deep, into what might feel like drowning death, unless having come through it in the end, after losing in the process all that felt like life, one might retrospectively describe the experience as baptismal, a birth through death. This song in 1 John is a new song, recognizing the new thing God has done in Jesus Christ. It was a new song for that community, and it's a song that we have continued to echo across the ages. It's a song that proclaims something new about God, using so many analogies about good and loving parents and children, analogies we know to be so true. That we love parents by loving their children, and we love children by loving their parents. That when there is deep love and trust between parents and children, commandments aren't punitive rules, but wishes and desires for wholeness and peace, harmony, and freedom to love. Catherine Matthews Huey writes for the UCC, says in these kind of relationships, command is not the but, as in, I love you but, or only if. Rather, it's the and, as in, I love you and I want you to love one another. Or it's the so, as in, I have loved you, so you must love one another. We know to be true that when deep love exists between parent and child, obedience is gratitude, is trust, is faith, is freedom, is love. It's a beautiful song, this song in 1 John. All of life is always in motion, moving, creating, becoming something new, caught up in the vortex of God's love, pulled toward new life in Jesus the Christ. But it's so much easier to sing the old songs. It's so much easier to sing songs of our 5-year-old selves about our mothers than the songs of our adult selves that are full of nuance. Songs that are a mix of pain and joy, that have seen humanness and seen flaws and brokenness and seen all of this jumbled all together. Those are different songs, songs with beauty and love that have felt the need for grace and forgiveness. But it's easier to sing the old songs, those 5-year-old songs. And it's easier to sing a song to God about a Messiah 2,000 years ago, about victory and liberation from a Pharaoh thousands of years ago, than songs of our own faith in this present moment that know Jesus speaking to us right here, right now. It's harder to sing the songs of the liberation we feel from God in our own world and our own lives. Because those songs aren't as simple. They're songs filled with doubt and anger, uncontrollable joy and overwhelming awe. Some with some fear and some confusion, with waves of love overlapping it all. That kind of song would be a messy song. But then again, I imagine that shouts of joy and thundering seas and rivers clapping and hills ringing out would be quite a messy song as well. Commentator Barbara Essex writes about Psalm 98 that it is written at a time when things looked bleak for Israel. Instead of jubilant hymns of praise, she says, the people had been singing despondent songs of freedom lost and a silent God. Still, the psalmist invites them to a new song. They are invited to sing because only singing keeps alive the hope that God yet reigns. Sing and live as if God has acted again, invites the psalmist. Sing because the world is about to change. Sing not because you are happy. Sing because you have a song about a God who loves and cares and acts. So yes, I wonder this Sunday, can we not silence the song of mothers, but learn to sing a new song, a fuller song, her song, the song of that good mother, the song of Mother Nature to her mother, the nuanced, messy song of life and love, the song of doubt and faith, brokenness and restoration, grief and healing, parent and child. Can we sing that melody we are catching at this moment, at this point in the spiral on the vortex of God's love? Can we sing her song? For surely when we sing out this sort of new song, all of creation will roar and thunder, clap and shout and ring out with us in praise and hope that whatever we are feeling right now, that God is worthy in the world. May God be with us